Welcome to Meet the Author. I'm today's host, Sophie, and I'm also the English editor of Arthroplasty, the official journal of Asia. Meet the Author is a new column of Arthroplasty. One episode will be released every month in 2020. In each episode, we'll invite one author to share with us his or her ideas about Asia, the journal Arthroplasty, and their experience of getting manuscripts published. Today, we're honored to have Dr. Antonia Chen, Associate Professor of Harvard Medical School and Director of Arthroplasty Research in Brigham and Women's Hospital, to share with us her insights and experience as a joint surgeon. Welcome, Dr. Chen.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm excited to be here today.
Before we start the interview, Dr. Chen, I want to thank you for contributing 2 manuscripts to Arthroplasty. One is on patient satisfaction, and the other is on reducing the risk of infection after total joint arthroplasty. These 2 articles have received about 5,000 accesses and 3 citations. These numbers are really good for articles published in a new journal, and they also indicate how capable you are of creating high-quality manuscripts, as you have always been as a multiple research grants winner. I can't help but wondering, why did you choose Arthroplasty, a fresh new journal with no impact factor, and how did you get connected with Asia and Arthroplasty?
I'm friends with many members of Asia, and their advancement of arthroplasty in Asian nations is unparalleled. I'm very proud of what they've done, and to establish a new journal is fantastic. So we want to encourage journals that have started to really encourage our subspecialty development. I love that the Arthroplasty Journal grew organically from Asia, and I believe in supporting these publications that improve our understanding within the field of arthroplasty.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. If the 2 articles published with Arthroplasty is an indication of your support to the journal, I wonder, how do you decide normally which journals to choose before you submit your manuscripts? What aspects do you usually consider?
I often submit my manuscripts to journals where they fit best. For example, if I have an orthopedic study that has broad implications, I might submit the article to a more general medical journal or a more general surgical journal. But for an arthroplasty specific study, I prefer to submit those to an arthroplasty specific journal. I consider the audience of the journal along with the types of articles that are typically published in that specific journal prior to submitting my manuscript.
Yes, I agree with you, Dr. Chen. To match the journal's aim and scope is very important before one submits his manuscripts. Some authors can be careless about choosing journals, but luckily, we've got the transfer desk and desk assistant to help them transfer the manuscripts to the right journal. And if we say that choosing the right journal is the first step to get your papers published successfully, then peer review is the next step. As an excellent peer reviewer of many prestigious journals, Dr. Chen, do you have any advice for those medical students and young surgeons about writing manuscripts?
When you write manuscripts, it's really important to lay out your thoughts in advance, and it has to be in an organized manner. Imagine if you're reading the actual article itself, what stands out, what makes it not so good, is normally that it actually flows in a logical manner. So when you start with the introduction, you want to go with a general summary of the problem that you're addressing, what's known in the field, and you want to end with what's missing in the field, because that really leads to the point of why you're doing the study. You want to end with the purpose or the purposes of your study at the end, that you're filling a void of knowledge in the field. In the methods section, you want to provide enough information so that someone else could copy your study and substantiate or refute your findings. It's best to end the methods section with a statistical analysis section, a sample size calculation if relevant, the level of statistical significance, the tests performed, and the software used to calculate the statistics. In the results section, you want to lay out the findings of your studies in parallel to the purpose or purposes listed in the introduction. Finally, for the discussion, you want to open the first paragraph with 1 or 2 sentences on why you conducted the study, but then quickly summarize the findings of your study in that first paragraph. In the other paragraphs, you want to compare and contrast the findings from your study with other studies and literature. This is your opportunity to give an explanation for the findings of your study. Always remember to include a paragraph on the limitations of your study. Finally, end the discussion with a conclusion paragraph, your take-home message. It's also beneficial to include a sentence on potential future studies that either your group or other groups could perform. After you write your manuscript, then it's the ideal time to write the abstract, not the abstract first. When you submit your manuscript, be sure to format the paper according to the journal you're submitting to. That kind of determines where the limitations paragraph goes, for example, if you need to write sources of funding or acknowledgments. It'll avoid unnecessary edits and make the manuscript submission process much easier.
Thank you for your advice, Dr. Chen. Following the submission guidelines is extremely important. Some authors don't think so because they believe that it's a waste of time to go over the long guidelines, but that's not true because when the editor needs to check the format, and especially when something goes wrong, the manuscript has to be sent back for revision and more time will be taken. Many haven't realized the trouble here, but I believe this wasn't the problem for you because you did a very great job back when you were a medical student by publishing so many research results. And I must say that I'm deeply impressed by your educational experience. I saw that you received your bachelor degree from Yale University, one of the US Ivy Leagues, in 2002. And then after 6 years of study at Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, you received your medical doctorate. What's remarkable is that in the meantime, you managed to get the master degree of business administration. And after that, you got residency at the University of Pittsburgh and joined the fellowship at Rothman Institute. This has been the performance of a straight A student. And it seems to me that you figured out what you want to do from the very beginning. First, you set up a goal and then you aimed at it. Is that so? What did you do to make sure to reach all your goals?
Well, with so much schooling is unfortunate because it shows that I spent too much time in school and not enough time having fun. That said, I wish I were a straight A student, but when I first wanted to become a doctor, actually was when I was 6 years old. When I was 6, I was playing the part of a doctor in a human body play. And I came home and I told my mom, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. And as a good Asian mother, she said, that sounds great. As time went on, I realized that I enjoyed science and I enjoyed working with people. So medicine was the perfect combination of the two of them. So once I got to medical school, I thought I was going to be a pediatrician when I grew up. I enjoy working with children. I thought it would be the best career path for me. But when I was a first-year medical student, one of the orthopedic surgeons who does hand came and taught us the hand anatomy in lecture and in the lab. And I found extremities to be extremely fascinating. I also realized that I love surgery. I love taking a problem and fixing it right away. And when I was doing research in medical school, I happened to work with a total knee arthroplasty surgeon who made his patients walk again. And that changed my life. I decided that's what I wanted to do because I wanted to make my patients walk again and really improve their quality of life. So it inspired me to become an orthopedic arthroplasty surgeon. And initially my goal was to be in private practice, but I fell in love with research and decided to pursue a career in academic orthopedics. I still have a long way to go as I have not accomplished all the goals that I want to yet.
You know what? That's the common attitude of an outstanding career woman. Never stop aiming for better. And but what's puzzling me is that why business school? Because it seems to me that it's a clear path of you becoming a professional joint surgeon, and business school seemed like a diversion. And it must have taken you a lot of time, given that being a medical student is already energy consuming. Does business help you in your career?
So business school and pursuing that with medical school at the time I was doing it was not popular. Currently, joint degrees are becoming more and more popular, such as a medical degree with MBA, medical degree with MPH or JD. The reason I originally wanted to go into business school was to learn the skills that I may need to run my own private practice. Business school taught me valuable skills such as how to read financial spreadsheets, understanding our world economic system, supply chain, and people management. Although I don't use the skills that I learned in business school to run a private practice, I have been able to apply the learning from business school to select research projects. It also helps to have a business background when running my own practice here, even in an academic setting, and understanding the financials relevant to our hospital systems.
That is wonderful. All the dots are connected finally. As to your career, we all know that female surgeons are rare in this field. And has your experience of being a female surgeon told you any differences? And I know that you've attended meetings and webinars talking on topics like women in orthopedics or women in arthroplasty since 2016. So what's the difference about being a female surgeon?
What's interesting is I entered the field of orthopedics because I love orthopedics. So I see myself as an orthopedic surgeon, just happens to be female. I remember when I was a medical student, there were no female residents in the orthopedics program at my medical school. But over time, I've seen that has thankfully changed. The benefit of being a female arthroplasty surgeon is actually when I go to the meetings, there's never a line at the bathroom, which is fantastic. And in general, most colleagues don't see a difference between myself and others in orthopedics. The hard part is that there are fewer individuals to build connections with if you're trying to connect with members of the same gender who may be able to relate to certain areas better than others, such as pregnancy, things that women can experience that men can't experience. There are also some events that are male only or female only, which can exclude the other gender. They're rare, but they do occur. There's also different perceptions for females versus male orthopedic surgeons with regards to other colleagues, trainees, and patients. Some patients seek out a female because they think they have a gentler touch, but some patients seek out male surgeons because they're afraid that the female surgeons may not be strong enough in orthopedics.
So have you seen any changes in these 4 years?
The good news is I have seen changes in the field of orthopedics and specifically arthroplasty with regards to gender distribution. So in the past, there'd only be 2 to 3% of orthopedic surgeons were females, and now it's up to 7%. We still have a long way to go, but it is getting better. And the trainees are up to 15% females in orthopedics. It may be because more and more medical students are seeing more women go into the field of orthopedics, and there's more mentorship and there's more emphasis on active recruitment of women into orthopedics. And the recruitment starts early. It starts at the undergraduate level as well as the medical school level. And there's actually even some programs that go even further back than that. Additionally, there's been more focus on work-life balance in medicine and the ability to have a family life while balancing a career in orthopedics. And this is true for males and females. I'm encouraged to see more and more women also entering the field of arthroplasty, as we have the second lowest number of female or surgeons or orthopedic surgeons. Spine has the least number, orthoplasty is the second one. And I think the idea is that you don't necessarily need to be just stronger to do these cases, you need to work smarter to do these cases. So more women are becoming more interested in it as older women are going into the field and becoming attendings. The residents see this and see the mentorship and then also follow those footsteps.
Just as you said, as long as the work and life balance is achieved and women's sacrifice can be more generally acknowledged, the number of female surgeons would increase. Before we end this interview, Dr. Chen, do you have any advice for arthroplasty and its development?
Arthroplasty as a journal is doing great things. They're encouraging authors to submit within the subspecialty of arthroplasty and really expanding the field, because I think it's important to get more literature out there to help guide our practices. So my best advice in life is to never give up. Once you reach your goal, establish a new goal to reach. If you keep doing this, your development will continue to grow and will make arthroplasty an even better journal and become a premier journal in the field.
Thank you, Dr. Chen, for your advice. We'll keep on working hard to reach all our goals. Right now, the priority for the journal is to get indexed in different databases. Hopefully, we can achieve indexing in PubMed Central in the near future. Thank you, Dr. Chen. This has been a great talk with you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I had a great conversation with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you for your presence, and thank you, our audience, for staying with us.
We sincerely invite you to submit your manuscript to arthroplasty. The journal is now still holding the first academic paper contest for better arthroplasty. Participants could submit any research, review, or case report to sign up for the contest and win great awards and opportunities. Please visit our official website for details. Should you have any queries, please send emails to edithheavengroup@asiaarthroplasty.org. We also welcome you to follow us on WeChat and Twitter for latest information. That's what we have for this episode of Meet the Author. In the next one, we'll invite another joint surgeon to join us. See you next time. Stay tuned.